She has great parents. She was raised very well. She's just the sweetest and the kindest, and she's a beautiful girl.
Behind every rising star, there are stories that fans can't stop talking about. And when it comes to Benson Boone and Maggie Thurman, curiosity has reached a fever pitch. He's the soulful singer-songwriter whose heartfelt lyrics have taken over playlists across the world. She's the charismatic TikTok creator whose charm and energy have drawn in millions. Together, their paths seemed to cross in a way that had fans buzzing with speculation. But were they collaborators, close friends, or something more? Join us as we uncover what truly happened between Benson Boone and Maggie Thurman. Benson and Maggie rise to fame. In 2021, Benson Boone walked onto the stage of American Idol with nothing but his natural gift for music and an undeniable glow of star power. From the very first note of his audition, it was clear that something special was happening. His voice, smooth yet filled with strength, immediately pulled in the judges and captured the hearts of viewers everywhere. It was one of those rare moments when everyone watching could feel that a new talent had arrived. But then came a twist that shocked almost everyone. Benson made the bold choice to walk away from the competition on his own. Some people thought it was reckless, even foolish, to give up such a golden chance. Yet Benson was not the kind of person who wanted his journey to be written by a TV show. Instead, he wanted to take control of his own story. Rather than fading from the spotlight, he found a way to shine even brighter. He signed with Night Street Records and began to grow his fan base in his own authentic way. Social media, especially TikTok, became his stage. There, millions connected with him not just as a singer, but as a real person. His raw performances, emotional delivery, and unpolished honesty felt refreshing to a generation looking for artists who were true to themselves. Then, in 2024, his career took a powerful leap forward. Benson released Beautiful Things, a deeply emotional anthem that spoke about the joy of love and the fear of losing it. The song hit people on a personal level, striking the perfect balance between tenderness and heartbreak. Listeners all over the world felt as if Benson had put their own emotions into words. Beautiful Things did not simply rise on the music charts. It conquered them. The song became a global hit, collecting more than 500 million views on YouTube alone, and earning its place as one of the most unforgettable songs of the year. Overnight, Benson went from a promising young artist to a rising star, whose name appeared in headlines across continents. And then came 2025, the year that changed everything. Benson Boone received his very first Grammy nomination for Best New Artist, a milestone that proved his bold decision years earlier had been the right one all along. As he stood before a worldwide audience, ready to perform on one of the biggest stages in music, there was no doubt left. Benson Boone was no longer just that contestant who once walked away from American Idol. He had transformed into an international sensation, an artist ready to leave his mark on the world of music for years to come. Before her name was ever connected to Benson Boone, Maggie Thurman was already carving out her own spotlight. Her journey into fame didn't start in a recording booth or on a movie set. It began in the most ordinary place of all, her own living room. In 2019, Maggie and her father decided to upload short dance clips on TikTok, just for fun. What followed was something neither of them could have predicted. The father-daughter duo had an energy that was impossible to ignore. Their chemistry was natural, their dances were filled with joy, and within a short time, Maggie became one of TikTok's most recognizable stars. Her expressive dance style, glowing smile, and charismatic presence made people feel like they were watching a close friend, rather than just a stranger on a screen. The response was immediate and massive. Millions of people began following her, eager for every new video. But Maggie was not the type to settle for one success. She had bigger goals and a powerful drive to chase them. TikTok was just the door, not the destination. As her popularity grew, it led her to new opportunities far beyond short clips. In 2023, Maggie stepped into the world of acting with her debut role in The Other Zoe, a romantic comedy that introduced her to an entirely different audience. Her performance surprised many. Not only did she hold her own on screen, but she delivered her role with charm and ease. That same year, she and her father launched a podcast called Wholesome Chaos. Unlike the fast-paced, fleeting nature of TikTok, the podcast gave fans something deeper. Honest conversations, humorous stories, and heartfelt father-daughter wisdom. Listeners connected with it instantly, seeing a more personal side of Maggie that made them admire her even more. Maggie's greatest strength, however, is her ability to adapt and grow. Many online personalities enjoy a short burst of fame before fading away, but Maggie kept expanding her reach. She embraced fashion, showing up at New York Fashion Week, gracing magazine spreads, and working with major brands. She wasn't just following the influencer playbook, she was rewriting it. Rather than just surfing the waves of popularity, she was busy building her own ocean. This very spirit of authenticity and creativity was what caught Benson Boone's attention. Known for pouring raw feelings into his songs, Benson saw in Maggie not just another online figure, but a muse, someone who inspired deeper emotions and new stories. Fans began noticing little hints he left behind. By February 2024, speculation reached new heights. During a late-night radio interview, Benson mentioned that his newest track was inspired by someone who made everything finally make sense. The statement was vague yet powerful. It didn't take long for listeners to connect the dots, and soon the internet buzzed with theories that the someone he was talking about might just be Maggie Thurman. But was Benson truly in love? And who was the mysterious person inspiring his music? Let's find out. Hollywood's new power couple. In March 2024, Benson Boone and Maggie Thurman stepped into the spotlight for the very first time as a pair. Their debut wasn't at some small gathering, but at one of Hollywood's most glamorous events, the Elton John AIDS Foundation's Academy Awards viewing party. The moment they walked in, all eyes turned. Dressed in perfectly coordinated white outfits, they carried themselves with the kind of quiet confidence that can only come from a real connection. Photographers captured everything, not just the big smiles, but the small, intimate gestures. A gentle touch on the back, a private joke whispered between them, little details that hinted at something deeper than friendship. Within hours, entertainment outlets had already labeled them the industry's newest it couple. Yet, interestingly, neither Benson nor Maggie rushed to confirm anything. Instead, they let their actions, and especially their social media activity, do all the talking. By June 2024, Maggie set the internet ablaze with a simple Instagram photo dump. Most of the pictures were artistic, behind-the-scenes snaps, moody lighting, candid shots, artsy filters. But one video stood out. Benson and Maggie holding hands in the back of a car, laughing in a way that felt completely natural, completely unguarded. That clip alone was enough to send fans into overdrive. And then came the moment that sealed it. Under Maggie's post, Benson left just one word: perfect. That single comment exploded across the internet. Fan pages popped up overnight. The whispers turned into cheers, and a new ship name was born: Ben Mags. Their chemistry was undeniable. But what made them different from other celebrity couples was the balance they struck. They weren't parading their relationship online with daily declarations of love. Instead, every shared look, every subtle confirmation carried more weight than 1,000 posts. Their connection felt private, even when the world was watching. By the peak of summer 2024, the speculation was over. Benson Boone and Maggie Thurman weren't just a rumor anymore. They were a power couple, and fans couldn't get enough. When they showed up, they didn't just attend events. They owned them. Their first major power couple moment came in July 2024 at the premiere of Twisters, a blockbuster movie that featured Benson's new single, Death Wish Love, on its soundtrack. The attention was already on Benson for his music, but when he arrived hand in hand with Maggie, both dressed in bold, matching denim outfits, the carpet practically stopped. It wasn't just fashion. It was a statement, effortless, fearless, and intentional. By September 2024, their status was sealed. At the MTV Video Music Awards, Benson won the award for Best Alternative Video with his song Beautiful Things. But it wasn't just his trophy that had everyone talking. It was Maggie's radiant support. Cameras caught her beaming with pride, cheering the loudest, and then came the kiss on the red carpet. The kiss that cemented them as pop culture's new fairy tale couple. What made it even more refreshing was how genuine it all felt. Their relationship didn't look staged for headlines. It looked real. The momentum only grew. When the 2025 Grammy Awards came around, Maggie was once again by Benson's side. This was the biggest night of his career so far, and although he didn't take home a Grammy, his live performance had the audience on their feet. The next morning, almost every entertainment outlet carried the same image. Maggie in the front row, her eyes filled with pride, watching him pour his heart out on stage. That single picture said it all. She wasn't just his plus one, she was part of the journey. And that was the magic of Benson and Maggie. They weren't chasing clout or staging over-the-top displays. They weren't sitting down for interviews oversharing about their private lives. Instead, what people saw was something more rare in Hollywood: quiet support, subtle affection, and an unspoken bond that made every shared moment feel authentic. So, was Maggie the hidden muse behind the music? Let's find out. Song and romance mystery. But long before the Instagram hints and the red carpet kisses, there was one song that had already sparked the speculation: Beautiful Things. The song became a global sensation, not only for its soaring vocals and haunting piano, but because of the raw vulnerability Benson poured into it. It wasn't written like a traditional love song. Instead, it sounded like a confession, a plea to hold on to something so good, so perfect, that it felt almost fragile. Listeners everywhere couldn't help but ask, was Benson singing about Maggie? Benson never directly said so, but the timing was hard to ignore. Around the same period the song was written and recorded, he was spending more and more time with Maggie. In interviews, he explained that the song came from a feeling of life being so good it scares you, like it's almost too perfect to be real. That description hit differently for fans who had been following the slow, blossoming romance between him and Maggie. One lyric in particular: "I found someone who makes it all feel like home, but what if I lose her?" took on new meaning when fans connected the dots. Maggie seemed to embrace that connection too. She never denied it. She liked and reposted snippets of the track, supported Benson at shows, and even dropped subtle references on her own social media. But she never once tried to steal the spotlight. That mystery, that quiet mix of confirmation and ambiguity, only added to the fascination. Together, Benson Boone and Maggie Thurman became more than just another celebrity couple. They became a symbol of what it looks like when two people share something real, something deep, and yet still manage to keep it theirs, even under the brightest lights in Hollywood. What made Beautiful Things stand out was not only its rise on the music charts or how quickly it spread across social media. Its true power came from how personal and emotional it felt. It wasn't just Benson pouring his heart into the lyrics, it was something every listener could connect to. The song became like an anthem for anyone clinging tightly to love, afraid of the thought of losing it. Whether Maggie was the true inspiration behind it or not, one fact was undeniable: the song carried real emotions, and that honesty made it unforgettable. But only a few weeks after the emotional high of the Grammy Awards, Benson Boone and Maggie Thurman suddenly found themselves caught in the middle of a storm of online rumors. At first, it began quietly. A few observant fans noticed that the couple hadn't shared much about each other lately. There were no Valentine's Day posts, no sweet behind-the-scenes clips, and not even Benson's usual fire emojis on Maggie's Instagram reels. Was the song their secret love story, woven into melody and verse? Or was it simply art reflecting life? Let's take a closer look. Benson and Maggie's bond. By late February 2025, the online world had reached a boiling point of speculation. Social media was overflowing with rumors, and hashtags like BenMeg's breakup and Benson single stayed at the top of trending lists for nearly 7 days straight. To many fans, It felt like the story was already written. Benson and Maggie were finished. But then, just as the whispers seemed to harden into fact, reality barged in and flipped the script. Paparazzi cameras caught what no one expected. Benson and Maggie walking into an exclusive music industry showcase in Los Angeles, not apart, not cold, but hand in hand. The photos didn't just show polite smiles, they showed something warmer, laughter, the kind that only happens when two people are deeply comfortable with each other. The very next week, Maggie added fuel to the fire in her own quiet way. She posted a behind-the-scenes Instagram story. The video showed Benson late at night, hunched over in the studio, fully lost in his craft. Her caption was simple, just 2 words: creating magic. But what captured fans' hearts wasn't the clip itself. It was the background audio. You could hear Maggie softly saying his name, Benson, in a way that felt tender, natural, and undeniably loving. That small detail was enough to send the internet into another frenzy. The clip went viral within hours. Benson wasn't silent either. He reappeared online with gestures that fans noticed immediately. He liked several of Maggie's TikTok videos and even left a playful comment of 3 flame emojis under a podcast highlight she had shared. For those who had spent the last week convinced the relationship was crumbling, this sudden wave of interaction felt like a lifeline. In no time, the breakup theories began to dissolve. Fans who once made sad edits of the pair now started posting side-by-side montages of Benson and Maggie's sweetest moments, proudly declaring them as proof that their bond was as strong as ever. The energy shifted overnight. What once looked like heartbreak now felt like reassurance. Had their fast-burning romance finally reached its breaking point? Let's find out. Strength behind Benson and Maggie's love. By the time spring of 2025 arrived, it was clear that Benson Boone and Maggie Thurman were not just another celebrity couple caught in the spotlight. They were trying to balance one of the most demanding and high-pressure moments of their lives. On Benson's side, his music career had officially exploded into a global phenomenon. His Fireworks and Rollerblades World Tour was in full force, lighting up cities across South America. Every stop was a frenzy of excitement. Sold-out shows in Buenos Aires, Bogotá, and Sao Paulo. Fans camped outside venues for days, desperate for even a glimpse of him. His face beamed down from billboards, his songs poured from every radio station, and every single night he stood in front of tens of thousands of screaming voices, turning arenas into oceans of energy. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Maggie Thurman was building her own empire. No longer just a social media star, she was now a name echoing in acting circles and boardrooms. Her acting credits kept growing. Her podcast drew in loyal weekly listeners, and she was suddenly a favorite pick for both film studios and fashion houses. Her name was spotted on guest lists for Milan Fashion Week and New York Fashion Week. Insiders whispered about her being cast in a major streaming drama, while others revealed she was developing a documentary series inspired by her viral rise to fame. Her calendar was full to the brim, but so was her ambition. Maggie wasn't chasing temporary fame. She was working on building something lasting. Yet, behind all the glamour, there was a very real enemy: time. Friends close to the pair joked that their romance was Google Calendar love. They were rarely on the same coast for more than a few days. Most couples in their position would have cracked under the pressure, but Benson and Maggie found their own way to make distance work. No messy public fallouts, no dramatic social media unfollows. Instead, their love was stitched together with FaceTime calls during sound checks, handwritten notes hidden in suitcases, and unannounced visits squeezed in whenever schedules allowed. When Benson performed in a new city, Maggie often slipped quietly into the crowd. They never pretended it was easy. What made them different was that they stayed intentional. Benson put it best in a backstage interview when asked how he stayed grounded amid tour chaos. "Knowing she's rooting for me, even when she's not in the front row, keeps me sane." That quiet, steady kind of loyalty is rare in the celebrity world, so rare, in fact, that it felt revolutionary. Now, as the noisy headlines fade and social media chatter quiets, one truth remains: Benson Boone and Maggie Thurman are still standing strong. Not because they broadcast their love from every rooftop, but because they have chosen to live it with quiet strength. In an entertainment industry built on scandals and fueled by breakups, their story is refreshingly different. For Benson, 2025 is quickly becoming the most defining year of his career. His world tour is stretching further into Asia and Europe. His streaming numbers are shattering records, and whispers from his team suggest he is already preparing a deluxe edition of Fireworks and Rollerblades. Rumor has it, the new tracks include a heartfelt ballad described as a letter to the one who kept me whole. Fans are convinced it is another tribute to Maggie, and excitement for its release is already sky high. So, what do you think about Benson Boone and Maggie Thurman's love story? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.